What's going on, guys? Welcome in. My name is Dr. Jim Cellini. I'm a board-certified practicing veterinary neurologist and neurosurgeon. I've stated before that my channel has two major goals. That is to educate people in regards to veterinary medicine, all things veterinary medicine and animal science, and also to try to entertain you, be funny, take shots at my brothers, that sort of stuff.
Swing and a miss, strike one. Wind up of the pitch, load outside, ball one.
You could actually do
Hernandez in these one-on-one spots before.
But in all actuality, there's a third goal to my channel, and that is to have an open and honest conversation about wealth building as a veterinarian. This topic's really difficult to talk about as a vet because it's so hard to talk about money as a veterinarian without being perceived as being in veterinary medicine for all the wrong reasons. And for that reason, nobody really talks about it. And it's hard for me to just watch veterinary practices getting scooped up and our entire industry becoming part of a multi-billion-dollar conglomerate of venture capital and hedge funds and publicly traded companies. All this happening right in front of our eyes, yet somehow veterinarians aren't allowed to talk about money and building wealth for themselves without seeming money hungry. So as is my personality, I'm going to completely ignore all of these cultural taboos and talk about something that I hold very near and dear to my heart, and I think more vets need to as well, and that is how exactly I am pursuing financial freedom and building the wealth for me and my family. But before I get into it, if you don't mind hitting that good old like and subscribe button, it always helps with the algorithm and channel growth. Thank you very much. Let's get started. Quick disclaimer, guys, before I get started, this is obviously not financial advice. I am only describing what I did and my path and what I plan to do. This is only for me. I'm just telling you my story. Please do not think that this is financial advice and something that you should do as well. Everybody has their own unique situation. You're not me. I'm not you. Just to let you know. All right, guys, let's get right into it. So the first thing I did on my journey and the first thing on my kind of path here is that I invested in myself. So what do I mean by that? Well, for one, I went to veterinary school. I got a profession that has very good security in terms of there's always a job available for you anywhere you want to go. There's vets everywhere across the world, pretty much. The first thing I did was basically secure some sort of income. Now, you can make arguments about the student loan debt and the pay in general, and is it worth it or not? That's a separate discussion. And honestly, I didn't really know any of that stuff before I started on this journey. But when I talked about investing in myself, the first thing and the first part of doing that is obtaining a profession, a professional degree, which is kind of what I was taught growing up as really the path to a better lifestyle. So that's what I did. I went to vet school and I became a vet, got licensed, started practicing. Now, the second part of investing in myself really happens after vet school. I decided to do 2 internships and then a residency. So I spent 5 years training extra to become a neurologist and specialize. I wanted to specialize in neurology because that was by far my favorite kind of subgenre, if you will, of veterinary medicine. But what I ended up doing was basically obtaining a set of skills that is very specific and very scarce in the industry. And that in turn has led me to take advantage financially of that skill set because not everybody can do what I do. Obviously, this is me looking back retrospectively at what happened. Along this journey, I had no idea that I was creating some sort of special skill set and I would take advantage of that financially. All I knew along the way was that I just wanted to be a neurologist. So ultimately what happened is that I was able to maximize my earning potential through achieving a specialty certification. So that for me was step 1, is investing in myself as much as I possibly can. Which then brings me to step 2, which is I paid off my debt. Well, some of my debt. Let me kind of get into that a little bit. So in a previous video, I mentioned how I left my residency with about $140,000 worth of student loan debt, which was about average at the time. This was 2016. And over the course of a couple of years, I was able to pay that down to a little bit under $80,000, refinance the loan, and create a monthly payment on a standard 20-year repayment plan of around $500 or so. What I didn't mention in the last video was that I actually also had a personal loan to my girlfriend, now wife, of about $6,000 because she bailed me out on a credit card that I ran up when I was a resident doing, let's just call it, really stupid stuff. I bought too many things. So the first 2 years of my job, up until my first investment, which I'll get to in just a second, I was really not financially literate at all. I knew I needed to pay off my student loans, and I was doing well with that, but I was eating out too much. I was traveling too much. I bought a car that I had no business buying. I bought like a $40,000 Subaru. Like seriously, I bought a Subaru Forester with a turbocharger. Like, who does that? Well, I was kind of like plugging along, and then summer of 2018 was when a switch went off in my brain. I read the book Rich Dad, Poor Dad. I know this is like totally a cliche story, but I read the book Rich Dad, Poor Dad, and for whatever reason, that book just completely changed my viewpoint and changed my thought process with everything related to finance. And right around that time, my best friend of about 25 years happened to be ramping up his real estate business and presented me with a real estate opportunity. So my buddy calls me up. He says, hey, I got an investment property that you may want to consider buying as your first property. And in my head, I'm thinking, oh, he's probably got some like multifamily, maybe like a 16 unit that's like really nice. And it's like on the waterfront somewhere. Because yeah, I'm going to invest in that. And because like that's what real estate investing is. So yeah, let me go ahead and see the deal. So he sends me the deal and it's this house. Oh! And I'm like, I don't get it. Look, there's nothing against the house. The house looks fine, but I don't see how this house just is some sort of awesome investment. So you can see how little I knew. So he says, look, trust me, this is a really easy purchase. This is a very undervalued home, and it's in an area that is about to explode. And I had absolutely no way to evaluate this deal. I knew basic numbers like what the mortgage would cost and all that and what it's currently renting for. But as a veterinarian, I was like, I have no skill set to evaluate real estate investments. I have no business sense. I'm literally just trusting you. And let this be kind of a side note to the video. If you have somebody in your life that you inherently trust, that goes a long way. And that is oftentimes more valuable than any sort of business sense that you have. And this person I trusted implicitly. So he said, Jim, if you buy this, I can't guarantee anything, but this looks to be a very just hot deal. And within a few years, you'll be very happy with it. And if you don't buy it, I'm going to buy it. So I said, all right. So I went ahead and bought the house. I purchased the home for a purchase price of $72,500. And I put 20% down. And with closing costs factored into that, that came out to a little over $19,000. I got a loan from the bank for a 30-year fixed rate mortgage at 5.75% interest. And when you factor in property taxes and home insurance, that comes out to $443 a month to pay for my mortgage. The property rents for $875 a month, $70 of which goes to a property management fee, and then another $65 a month goes to a HOA fee that I have to pay. That leaves about $740 of income per month. If you subtract the mortgage that I showed you earlier, that leaves us right at about $300 net per month above the mortgage that we're making as profit. Now, obviously, that doesn't factor in repairs and maintenance and stuff like that. I usually will cut the profits in half and attribute that to maintenance and CapEx and repairs. So purely, if you factor in just being conservative, we are cash flowing about $150 a month or so on this property. Now, that doesn't seem like much, but if we look at what's happened to this property in terms of its value over the last 3.5 years, you'll see where the investment really lies. Realtor.com has the home value listed at $142,800. Redfin has the home value listed at $129,000. And Zillow has the home value listed north of $190,000, which honestly I think is ambitious, but hey, nonetheless, I'm not going to complain about it. This brings me to my overall plan for building wealth and creating financial freedom, and that is through real estate investing. My wife and I are pulling together our incomes as veterinarians. We both practice full time, and this is our main investment vehicle. We are putting all of our efforts into this in order to secure our financial future, both not only for us, but for our child as well. And the reason we're using real estate is just the simple fact that we're getting higher returns on our money with real estate compared to other investment vehicles like stocks and ETFs, even cryptocurrency, because we haven't gotten in on the ground floor with cryptocurrency. And crypto is really volatile in general, so it's kind of risky for people like us to invest in. Guys, I wanted to make this video for two reasons. The first was to show you an example deal and to talk about the fact that I'm using real estate as my primary investment vehicle to build our family's wealth. The second reason I wanted to show you this video was to provide another example of how veterinary medicine is not all doom and gloom. There's a lot of negativity that's coming out about vet med. I made a previous video talking about some good things about veterinary medicine, but I wanted to provide a real life example of what me, a practicing veterinary neurologist, is doing in order to build my wealth and again, create that security for me and my family going forward and just grow our money. Use the money that we're earning through our years and decades of hard work and put it into something that grows, not just spend it, not just save it. Be smart about it and take the opportunity that we have and create something for our future and for our child's future. All right, guys, if you want to see more videos like this talking about finance as it relates to veterinary medicine, what I do, what you could do, options, stuff with real estate, anything like that, let me know in the comments below. I always love talking finance. Finance is one of my hobbies. I have a real passion for it. So yeah, let me know in the comments below what you think. Hit the like and subscribe button. And yeah, I'll see you guys next time. Thanks a lot for watching.